very much. All right, the mic is on, and it actually works this time. So the first lesbian who, it becomes like this thing. I see if everyone can get up on stage and say something about this. I recently learned that my wife and I were the first wives to co-present a paper at a major technical academic conference. We presented it together 3 years ago at the Neural Information Processing's conference, and it was shocking to learn that, and probably untrue, that no two women in love had ever been up on stage presenting a technical paper before. You may be wondering about this right now. So the last time I was in this room talking to people like you, I was preceded on stage by Gina Rochero, and she looked great. And I thought, I'm going to take that look for the next time I present at Lesbians Who Tech. And then I got here today, and someone said, you do realize she's a professional model, and you're a 45-year-old neuroscientist mother of two. So, thank you. Actually, after I'm done here, I will literally go out the door, fly to San Francisco, and give an award to Erica Karp. So you're just going to have to deal with the Power Girl-esque boob window here for a little bit. Okay, so I feel like this title should come with like a trailer, a very Terminator-esque dun, 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 dun. It's intense. I'm a mom, so let me cast this in terms that make sense for me, which is, there we go. This is what matters to me, is in 2024, my kids will be out there in the world working, and to put it in sort of really blunt terms, will I have created a person that still has a purpose? In a world where artificial intelligence is becoming increasingly not just a part of our lives, but a part of what it is to have a modern civilization. And I'm going to say some intentionally provocative things here. So I'm a mom. This is my son, Felix. I feel terrible. I don't have a picture of my daughter, Athena, but I don't feel terrible because she doesn't have diabetes, and that's the reason he's in front of you right now. So I do a lot of things in the world of AI, a lot of different domains. I've invented technologies that predict manic episodes in bipolar sufferers, that help autistic kids read facial expressions using Google Glass. I was just in Indianapolis at Eli Lilly talking about technology we've developed to try and remove bias out of the workplace. In fact, next week I'll be in Paris at AXA trying to figure out whether we can actually price discrimination into insurance policies so that companies have to pay more if they've got a problem. So this is the sort of thing. I mean, that's great that machine learning and big data and artificial intelligence can actually get at questions like this. It genuinely can be a good. As a tool, this can be amazing. Here is an example of it. Several years ago, in fact, I think I mentioned it the last time I was on this stage, several years ago, my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I hacked all of his medical devices, his insulin pump, his continuous glucose monitor, broke several federal laws, so I've learned, and sent that data to my personal server, and I built a model that predicted whether his blood glucose levels will go high or low an hour into the future. And so it sends me messages. So I knew I was visiting the White House, met the Lesbro, and I was wearing Google Glass because I was getting push messages about whether he was high or low. He was low. I sent a text message to my sister who was taking care of him, and he didn't go low. So I mentioned I was at Eli Lilly. Well, now 5 years later, I'm talking about issues of discrimination and what data says about it, massive data sets. And afterwards, the CIO, a woman, takes me aside along with the director of research and says, hey, one of our scientists has been advancing your work. We've got a deep neural network now for creating what's known as an artificial pancreas. Why am I bringing all this up besides really needing to drop all of my amazing inventions because my ego needs it? It's because that pancreas they're building and they asked me to help with might actually be better than ours. Not tomorrow, but by 2024, might it actually be like, when do I get diabetes? When do I get a pancreas that will allow me to eat any crappy food I want to without having these wild spikes in my blood glucose levels? When the Paralympics will be a much more exciting event to watch because those people will be amazing with the technology that will empower them to go far beyond what we can do. These are good things. I don't want my son to be sick and to be compromised in his life. Here is a more traditional look at AI. This is Peter Bell's lab at Cal, where I am, and that's Brett. That robot is being taught how to fold towels. It doesn't know it, it's learning. So, and this is a group of robots that are learning from one another how to solve a task. No humans involved at all. This is AlphaGo. You heard it beat the world Go champion. What happens, though, when AlphaGo doesn't play Go? It plays the stock market. So we hear a lot about automated cars, self-driving cars, and we hear about not needing farm workers anymore, and there are issues, big issues associated with this. But maybe we don't need financial analysts anymore. Maybe we don't need a lot of people. So this is meant to be a provocative statement, but it takes 20 years to build a human life. Do we know that what we're doing today is actually, do we know the value of a human life in 2024? I almost guarantee you that most of what we do, certainly at a global level, but most of what we do in schools today is vastly undervalued for what we need 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And some of these issues, and this is meant to be provocative in a room like this, are we going to need people programming? It is awesome. I actually hate programming, but what a fabulous tool. I'm thrilled that I know how to do it, and it changes how you think. It is an amazing thing to learn. But some friends of mine published a paper recently. The deep neural network, you give it a question. How do I get someone's age off of Facebook using Python? It gives you the line of Python code to ping Facebook's API and return someone's age. It's not a stretch. Forget 2024. 2017 for me to say, give me an app that will link up everyone that's having a birthday this week for lesbians who tech, and send it to them and do it in blue. And think, bam, I don't have a prototype, I have a finished product. And no one was involved. The future of human capital in the context of artificial intelligence isn't going to be about the skills and knowledges you possess. This is the effects of hyperinflation as we know it in the financial world, where the money becomes cheap overnight so quickly. I've been talking about the hyperinflation of work. If you're doing the same job 2 weeks from now that you're doing today, someone like me is going to come along and think, I bet I could build something that can do that faster and better and cheaper. And that may sound scary, and it may sound exhausting to constantly think, I got to do a different job at the end of the day that I'm doing today. But these are real goods that AI can bring to the world, and there's something that we can bring also. In the future, there's going to be one job description. And I hope that is, in fact, what you're going to see here. In 2024, we're only going to need one thing: creative, adaptive problem solvers. And this is a room full of amazing people that are solving problems, societal level problems, that are solving problems inside of companies. They're doing it clearly creatively, and changing the world. We need to make certain everyone else has the chance to do this too. We need to go out of this room and think my responsibility, after myself, is to make certain every other child in the world becomes a creative, adaptive problem solver. Because if we don't, there will be a serious problem in 2024. There will be billions of people without a purpose. And there are plenty of social institutions that we hear about regularly on the news that will be thrilled with it. There may even be an occasional Republican presidential candidate that will be thrilled with that. I want to live in the world where everyone is contributing, where everyone is fully realized and living out their full potential. AI shouldn't be a scary thing, but sitting back and building people that are not ready for that world, thinking, I don't need them, they're different than me. In 2024, the music will start, and we do need to start wondering whether this will be a post-apocalyptic or a techno-utopian world. I know it can be the latter, and I know that all of you here are going to play a role in that. Thank you very much.